welcome back to This Gen. We're so excited to start this series off again. Today we have an awesome, very special guest to me. We have Ms. Nhi here with us. What's up, girl? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm excited.
Don't be nervous. Nhi is one of my closest friends. Praise the Lord for this year of connection. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Even though I already know, let them know a little bit about you.
Okay, so my name is Nhi. I am a student right now, and I work in the college, so I feel like the majority of my identity is a student. And we've been friends for
Not even
a year. Oh,
Not yet.
Oh, almost a year. Okay, and I like photography sometimes, volunteer at church. I like cooking. I like baking. I would have baked you something, but I didn't have time.
That's okay. Oh, fun fact about Nhi. Actually, that's how we started our friendship. She helped design this whole studio.
Oh yeah,
She did. So
that is.
now she gets to sit on the lovely couch that we went
And
very sketchy
disassembled.
and disassembled
Yes.
and reassembled and
Yep.
did all of this stuff.
Everything.
The title of the episode is Love is Patient. Now, the series is called Voicemail, and basically it's about like unanswered prayers and just trusting the Lord with those unanswered prayers and knowing that like they're not in the trash. They're literally just like, we're waiting for them to be answered. So with Love is Patient, we're kind of, being ready for love, yet surrendering it to the Lord.
Mhm.
We're kind of in that season, right, girls and guys? Y'all are ready for love too.
Yeah.
We're young adults. We're looking for our husbands and for our wives for the most part, and we kind of want it now. So let's figure out how to navigate that a little bit with Ms. Nhi over here. My first question for you is: how do you handle wanting love but not wanting to rush ahead of God?
So before I answer, I do want to say that I feel that us wanting love or wanting a connection, wanting a relationship is what God intended for us to have a relationship and to have a connection. So whenever I was reading that question, I was like, oh, this is like, I guess I kind of saw it as a bad thing, like wanting it before you're ready. But I started seeing it as like that's a sign of God's humanity in us that we do want that connection. And for me, the way that I guess navigate through that is just remembering that you're not waiting and doing nothing. Like you're also working on yourself, or you're waiting expectantly, even. And it says in Genesis like that we are supposed to be with someone else. Like God created a man and saw that it wasn't good for him to be by himself, and so I just kind of rethought the question. I was like, it's not bad to want that connection, but also to make sure that your relationship with God is where it should be, and if you are ready for something like that.
Yeah, no, and I love that you said that like we're designed to be loved, and to have that love and that connection. And some people aren't gonna be single for forever, so like don't want to disregard that, and that's okay. Paul was single forever, but the design was to be loved by God, right? And so we do feel that love from the Lord, and I like what you said about like wanting to have that love comes from discovering that love in God. And then the rest of it, like, once you have that big picture of what love is supposed to look like, because you've received it and you've learned and you've had this relationship with God, you are able to now be prepared for this next thing, because you're yearning for it. You know, you want to be loved, you want to be seen, and there's someone who is already seeing us and loving us. And also in another context, we had an episode last season on Valentine's Day, like a little bit about love and stuff. And they talked about how like love also comes from friendships, from family members, from like other people. And so like sometimes we may get caught up on the rushing ahead because we want a different kind of love, but that's a different kind of conversation, because like Are you looking for lust over love?
Yeah.
Are you looking for attention? Are you looking for validation? Are you looking for different things? Because if it's love you're looking for, you look around, like, there's love everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to say, is that it's not just relational, like in a romantic relationship that you can find love. It's also in majority is like your friends. And I feel like a lot of the times your friends, like those platonic friendships, are one of the truest forms of love, because they're not getting anything
Yeah.
from you. Whereas like in a romantic relationship, you could have that thought, like, is it love or is it lust? And that is also hard to navigate. So um, in a platonic friendship, it's like you're not getting anything else other than like us, a really good friendship, and that love for each other.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, next question. Have you ever confused readiness for love
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
impatience?
100%. I think my version of readiness is, am I emotionally stable or emotionally mature? Do I have time? Like very like tangible things that you can see, like, and I think that is me being ready. Yeah, and I think that since in my head I think I'm ready because of all of these factors, I do get impatient, like, or I can get impatient if like you're single for a while, because I guess you feel like you're ready. And I mean, I've definitely made the wrong choice before, and I can say that God still works in God can still work whenever you make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
And it says like his perfection is made in our weaknesses.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
Yeah.
good. Okay, I really like that what you said about like the outside factors
yeah.
kind of playing into, like, quote unquote, if you're ready or
Yeah.
not. Because I know a lot of people that are financially stable,
Yeah.
that have a good job,
Mhm.
that are mature, that are above 25, so their
Yeah.
frontal lobes are developed.
Yeah.
Like, you have a car, you're serving, you're faithful to the Lord, you're doing all of these things. And so you look at those outside things and you're like, I'm ready. Like, what's holding me back? And then lo and behold, let's say you find someone who's at that same stage of life and you're like, oh, they're ready, so I'm ready. And then you rush into something because you're impatient, right? When in reality, it's like, I wouldn't say that I'm ready for a relationship because I don't think I'm financially stable. I don't think that I'm, like, mentally healed from all of the past relationships. I don't think that I'm prepared. However, like you said, like, for, like, he is made strong in our weakness. And there's sometimes, like, I know that the Lord is working in me, and I know that someday at some point, whether it be tomorrow or whether it be in 2 years, once I am fully healed from all of these things, like, it'll be in God's timing.
Yeah. You said like 6 years.
I did.
By the time I have my first kid, she will be engaged.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. Because what I said when I was 30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see, and that's something that sometimes we put limitations on ourselves, because I say it playfully. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not having a boyfriend until I'm 30.
Yeah.
But realistically, like, that will also put up a block on
Mhm.
ourselves mentally. Like, you know,
Mhm.
because you're like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not looking for it. I'm not going to entertain anything in that sense. And the other way around, if you're like, I'm going to have a kid by 25, I'm going to be married by 23.
Yeah.
Like, all of this,
All
like,
those timelines.
you're putting up different blocks because you're trying to, you're getting impatient on both areas, because you're like, no, Lord, I'm not healed, so I'm not, like, I'm impatient with you, like, trying to rush me into something, versus, Lord, I'm getting impatient because I want to do this already as well. You know?
It's always like the difference between your timeline and the timeline God has for you, and that's it's hard because you want it your way because you think you know better. But
Yeah. I will say, like, in this season, and we've talked about this before, like, this season of my life, I really have learned that a big part of being patient with the Lord is surrender. And so I think that in this season of my life now, I'm more comfortable with the idea
okay.
of, like, a partner, because we've learned that, like, sense of surrender, that sense of trust.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the times, whether we think we're ready or not, you don't know until it happens. Like, a lot of the times you can sit and think about how you're ready or how you're not, but once you're in it, it's just completely different.
Don't rush into anything.
Yeah,
but
don't.
you know your experiences teach you things as you go. So that next question actually is, what's helped you stay grounded in singleness or a waiting season, or what have been your struggles during that season of like trying to be still?
Well, my friends helped me a lot during my season. So I don't think I ever told you, but when I was going through my breakup, I had, I think, like 8 of my friends. Like they were there for me. I would try to pay for stuff, and they were like, "No, like we're not letting you pay." Like that type of, like they were just there for me, and they would text me like, "Hey, Nee, I hope you have a good day today." Blah blah blah. Like I prayed for you, and that wasn't a side that I saw in any of my friends because I hadn't gone through that stage with any of them yet, and they really showed up for me, and they would drive to my house like just randomly just to drop off something. And like that made me feel really loved, and that really helped me because that was what made me realize like there is love in my life already. Even though this situation didn't work out for me, or in that love, there's already a lot that I have in my life. And so what I did whenever I got better was that I went to Trader Joe's and I bought like a bunch of flowers, and I tied them up like I it was really cute, and I gave it to all of my friends, and I wrote a handwritten letter cuz like I can't do it verbally. Like I have a hard time, but writing I can like express my feelings. It's really easy. And that helped me, and even seeing their reaction, it really helped me realize like it's okay if you're not in a relationship, and it's okay um like you don't have to search for love in other places.
Yeah,
Like you already have a lot of it in your life.
that's good.
So
And
that helped me a lot.
I know you just mentioned it right now that like like your verbal,
Yeah.
your verbal block with like
Yeah.
expressing your love,
Yeah.
or communication. Like, do you think that your time of singleness kind of helped you develop that a little bit?
So whenever I was single, I did work on myself. And a thing for me is that I think like it could be a compliment, and I'm thinking it, but I just never think to say it. And it's really weird because I feel so awkward having to say it. So like it could be the simplest thing. Like I was working out with your sister last month, and I wanted to be like, "Oh, like your legs look great," because it did. And I was like working up the courage to say it like half of the workout. And then I said, she's like, "Oh, thanks." Like it's nothing. Like it's really nothing. Or sometimes, I think my friends look pretty or they look cute, and I think it, but I just don't think to ever say anything. So it's like that constant reminder uh, of being verbal about it. I really wanted to work on that, so I think it helped. I think I warned you too.
Oh yeah,
Did
absolutely.
I? Yeah, I warned you, and I was like, if I do, like, don't be scared, because I feel like you would have been like, "Ah, that's so out of your personality to
Yeah.
say."
Like,
Yeah.
why are you telling me I look pretty right now?
Like, are you okay?
Are you okay? But I do think, and again, we said like this friendship has been new-ish, almost a year. But I feel like I've seen that growth in you in that season of singleness, because I feel like you kind of started to open up. You go through a heartbreak, and that in itself starts to teach you things, and you learn in that. And so once you get past that, like the losing someone, then you get into the stage of like, okay, well, what's left,
Mhm.
and who am I? And
Yeah.
that's where like, thankfully, like I witnessed you like go to the Lord and
Oh, yeah.
discover that through Him.
Yeah.
And then I feel like you start to bear the fruits of the Spirit
Yeah.
through that, and like being able to be more. And Nhi got me a cupcake today, a
I
bundt
did.
cake, and
it said, "I love you," because I can't. I'm working on it.
she just said it out loud. I've never
Well,
heard
I
her say
said-
the words.
But I'm not saying it to you. I could say like right now, I could be like, "Oh," if I'm talking to him, like, "Oh, I love Jen," but I wouldn't say it to her, even though
She's right there on the other side of the camera. No, but it's true because I remember this instance once, like we had gone somewhere, and I was like, I say it all the time
You
because
say it,
the
yeah.
love is just coming out of me, like
Yeah.
I'll say bye, I love you,
Yeah.
or like take care, love you. And
Mhm.
the first time that we hung out, like for real, well, one of the first,
Yeah.
we were saying bye, and I was like, bye, I love you, and she just walked away, but I didn't think much of it because
Yeah.
that's how I just say like goodbye.
Yeah.
But she came back and she knocked on my window, and I was like, hello, and she was like, I just want to like let you know, like I don't say that. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's okay. But you
Yeah.
know, like progressively, I've also seen you grow in that sense. And it's beautiful because like you said, like the readiness part, the impatient part, it's like that's something that's pretty important, like communication and validating your partner.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really bad at that. So I do remember that was one thing that I really wanted to work on, because that's not just for your partner, that's for your friends as well.
I think definitely I've been single for a while.
For
Well, realistically for 23 years, because I've never been in a committed relationship, but unrealistically, like situationships and stuff,
yeah.
it's 2 years,
Oh.
a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years, yeah. And obviously, like in general, I would just consider myself single for 23 years because you don't receive that kind of commitment, that kind of love. So, but anyways, but what's helped me stay grounded has been, like you said, like my friends in that sense. But I will admit, sometimes, like whenever, as we get older, people start getting married.
Yeah.
People start having kids. People start getting boyfriends.
Yeah.
And then like so that connection starts to fade away. So even though like I find a lot of comfort in my friends, I've learned now to also find comfort in spending time with myself. And I think that's super important as well, because whenever you rely on other people a lot, like that can get tricky. And in the sense of like, whenever you get in that relationship with a partner, you don't want to put them above God.
Exactly.
In the sense like that you're relying so much on them. And I know that's something that I do in all of my relationships. I tend to have that tendency of putting them before anything else. Like I hyperfixate on them. And I am the first to admit, I will blame the ADHD for everything. And so I'm just like, oh, that's just the ADHD.
Yeah.
That's just the ADHD. But we do have self-control. And at some point I had to learn to like, okay, no, that's me putting them above God. And so I also need to spend time with the Lord so that I can develop who I am, so that I'm prepared as I go. So God can show me who I am so that I can be a good partner and wife to my husband in the future.
Yeah. And not only you putting your partner above God, but a lot of the times you put your partner above your friends.
Oh, yeah.
And then you lose all your friends, and then you're like, and you realize it's your fault because you're the one that, wants to hang out with them. And it's like, you're not filling your own cup anymore. Like you don't have a life outside of them, and that gets very unhealthy. And then that's whenever you start to depend on them for your fulfillment or your happiness, and then it makes it more like you don't even think about God anymore. Now you're just idolizing them. So there's definitely two steps to that.
Yeah, for sure. But honestly, like I got pretty good at being single.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the problem as well. And I get this told to me all of the time, so I'm going to tell it to you guys as well. Sometimes we have to let the other person feel like they're needed.
Yeah.
But I have become single for so long and so self-reliant and so independent that during my season of singleness, whether it be good or toxic, I did learn to become so like self-reliant and independent. Right. So I've learned that I have to kind of let go of that in simple things. Like sometimes I won't let anyone help me when I'm carrying all of my things.
Yeah.
You know, girl or boy, like I will not let anyone carry it. I will be like, no, it's okay, I've got it. Or like I could have $4 in my bank account, but I'm not gonna let you pay for my meal. Like I'm gonna do that. And those are like little things, but in that sense, it's like surrendering.
Yeah.
I've already learned how to surrender my life to God. And so little by little, I'm learning how to surrender like little aspects of my life to him as well, because like it's a partnership that we're looking for. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to find someone who's just going to do whatever I want and just like follow me everywhere that I want and help me like, you know, in all of my projects and stuff like that. But someone asked me, we were at lunch, and she asked me, she was like, so you wouldn't like give up your job to go move with your husband if you got an opportunity like somewhere else? And I was like, no, because that's my, and she was like, oh, she's like, you're not ready yet. And I was like, she was like, because when you fall in love, like you'd at least consider it. She's like,
oh,
you know? And she was like, because I was like, no, absolutely not. Why would I do that? Like, there's no way. Why is he uprooting our life? This is all hypothetical. We're all making, you know, like, why is he uprooting my life? Why is he doing all like this? Like, if he knows how I'm very passionate about things, if he knows that I'm passionate about this, why would he go get another job offer? Like, no. And she was like, You know, like that's how you know that you fall in love with someone, when you at least consider that their needs may be, you know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good one. So that really like got me thinking, and I was just like, man, I'm really stubborn in my own ways.
Right.
And after that conversation, I was just like, no, I was like, okay, well, they have dreams too. Like they have desires as well, and so it just opened up my mind a little bit.
Now I can start, I guess, picking up stuff for you.
Oh my gosh.
Like now you need to let me help you.
Well, and honestly, and I tell Genesis this all the time. We're talking about Genesis a lot. She is on the other side of this camera. She's been a sweetheart. She has said yes to helping me with this. And it's not like I couldn't do it by myself, because the first 2 seasons I did it completely.
I was about to ask you that, yeah.
On my own. I did everything on my own, and if I needed help with like audio or something, there was a friend who, Efrain, thank you so much. Like I would just send him the audio if I couldn't figure it out, and he would fix it. But that was the extent of help that I would allow myself to receive. Yeah. And so in the season of learning to surrender and not be in control of everything, I was like, there is an awesome, competent young lady who can do things. And I would be like denying her of a blessing, or maybe the Lord teaching her something, by me taking control of everything all the time, when I can allow someone to learn through this process. And so now, like, that was a surrender for me, like letting her control the media, letting her control all of the aspects, that I can focus on the biblical part, on like the conversation part. Like that was a load off that I didn't know that I needed. And so in that sense, like, you know, I'm literally still learning, but that's something practical that I had to learn to do, to surrender.
Well, I heard the sermon that it said, whenever you're giving, you're not receiving. Yeah. So you could get very drained out from not receiving anything, because you're always giving, and you're not letting people
pour into you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. I've learned that. I've started letting people open the doors for me.
Like, okay.
That's been one step.
That's a start.
That's good. That's a little one. Yeah. But not to get off on a tangent about me, let's go on to the next one. How do you trust God with your heart when others seem to go ahead?
You know, I don't ever feel that.
What?
I never feel that anyone is ahead, or I never feel that comparison of, oh, God answered this prayer for them, why isn't he answering it for me? I think it's because I know what I want in my future, and I know how to get there, and I have the plan. So it's like I just have to wait until it happens, and it's in the process of happening. So I don't get impatient, because I can see the map. And I think it's also because I'm young, like I'm 21, and someone that is my age having kids and a husband, like I don't want to have kids or a husband now. Or even someone that is, let's say they have a career and I want that career, you can't go into it without the school. Like you literally can't. So I've yet to feel that like that comparison towards someone, or that envy. And I think, like, even for my friends, I've never been an envious person. Like I always celebrate their success. Like it's also that mindset, like some people think if someone else is successful, you can't be successful. But that's not true, and I've never believed that. So I honestly have never felt that envy or anything.
Well, but I feel like you just answered the question in itself, because you had like a perception shift. Like you're looking at things like, I'm exactly where I need to be right now. Like stepping back and being like, I'm literally 21.
Yeah.
Don't need to be married right now.
Exactly.
I'm literally 21 and a student. Why would I have a full-blown career right now? You know, as we get further down the line, I understand how that gets frustrated.
Oh yeah.
I'm about to be 24. I have not graduated college yet, like university.
Yeah.
Because I keep, you know, like the Lord keeps, well, I'm the Lord and me. I keep changing my mind. Like, you know, I keep changing my mind, and I'm very indecisive. But like, you know, and at this point, like I said, like people are getting married, people are getting into relationships. So it's like, am I really behind? And while I was away at college, I definitely felt like that. And I felt like I had to rush into things with people, because there was experiences that I wasn't living. There was things that I wasn't living. There is like, just like, I'd never had a date on Valentine's Day. Like, how was I going to go like 24 years without like having a date on Valentine's Day?
Right.
Still have not had a date on Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh.
Got broken up with 3 days before Valentine's Day. But, you know, like there were just things that I was just like, I'm going to settle for this because I haven't had these experiences yet. But later, once you have that perception shift of it's like, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with what the Lord has given me right now in this season. I'm not gonna rush my education because I know that like God's timing is perfect and that His plans for me are to prosper me and not to harm me. Like all of these little things and just reminding yourself of that, it's definitely been super helpful because it gets frustrating.
Yeah, I mean it's a you start with like the seed of comparison, and it's up to you to protect your peace and not let it grow, right? So um I mean I have felt that comparison, but it's like it doesn't go on for long because I'm like I would get there eventually, I guess. Um and there's nothing really that I want so bad that someone will have that I'm like, "Oh, I need this. Like I want it the same way that you have it, I guess."
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna touch on like you mentioned that you're like, oh, I know the map, I know the roadmap,
Right.
like I have my plans, and it's like I don't want you to hear that. I know Nhi, so it doesn't sound crazy to me. I don't want you to hear that and be like, oh, like she doesn't like God knows the plan, God knows everything.
Yeah.
But I say that because she has such strong faith that the Lord will deliver that plan, and she'll. I know you would be content if like the shifts a little bit, but like she has, I don't know if how much you want to share about this, but like you have such strong faith that you pray specific, like so specifically.
Oh, specific, yes. I have a journal, and I brought it with me. And this journal, everything I put in it, it always happens for me. And it happens fast. So I only put things in here that you can tell whenever it's something that you want, um, loosely. It's something that like in your soul you want, or in your heart you want. And that's the only thing I ever put in this journal because I'm like, I don't want to put any of my worldly desires in here, I guess. Like, I want to make sure that it stays intentional. And I'm very intentional with my prayers. And as for like, I know the map and everything, I'm talking about practically.
Right.
Like, how do you become a doctor?
Right.
You go through school, like, you go through med school. And yes, in that, it's going to be very hard. And there has been times where I'm like, I can't do this. But you know that that is the enemy talking to you because I try to view myself how God views me. And I'm like, I know He doesn't think I'm stupid. So I've had moments like that. And I called you once when the first fail happened.
Yeah.
And that was really, really hard for me because I don't, this sounds bad, but like I don't fail. Academically, I don't fail. And I'm so glad now that I did because it helped me realize that that was my ego. That wasn't like me being sad because I think I couldn't do it. It was my pride. And after I figured that out, I was fine. And I failed like another time, and I was like, no one gets it on the first try.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
so it's not that I'm like I know my plans or anything, but yeah, it is. I do have a lot of faith, and when I do pray, it's very intentional. It's very specific.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next question, though, like I do want to bring this up because I feel like everyone that comes on, I ask them how long they've been a believer because I feel like sometimes we get discouraged by the fact that like, oh, they probably grew up in church and they probably, you know.
Yeah.
So do you want to touch a little bit on how long you've or how you came across this?
I didn't grow up in church. Nobody introduced it to me, or nobody in my family like helped me go to church or anything. It was by one of my friends, and he just kept bringing me to the church, and that's how I got introduced to it. And as for how I actually wanted to learn about it, it was just like this curiosity that drew me into the church and wanting to learn more and having my own questions and people not being able to answer it the way that I wanted them to answer it, I guess. Like I wanted it to make sense for me as well. So that curiosity just really grew. And I would say I've been a believer for like just a year. It hasn't been long at all. And I mean, I just got baptized.
Oh yeah, you did.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. It's only been 3 months.
Hey, that's a lot.
So I've only been baptized for 3 months. Yeah. But I don't know how I have a lot of faith because I'm very like logical.
Yeah.
I'm a very logical person. I'm very, if anything, like very cynical. And I think the journal really helped me because you write down what happens and you write down your experiences and you look back and you're like, thank God that he protected me from that, or that it happened the way that it did, because you start to see the chapters unfold. It's like a book that God already knows, but you only know the chapter before.
Yeah.
So
That's good. Yeah, and I definitely like. Do you think your perception of love, like how did that change from going as a non-believer into, or do you think it kind of stayed the
no,
same?
it definitely changed. Um, I think it changed mostly in how I view a romantic relationship. Is definitely more sacrifice. Like that's how you know that you truly love someone, is that sacrifice, and that most importantly that this love is a choice. Like I've always thought that, but it's more emphasized that in everything I do, that it's a choice. Like not every day you want to, like sometimes like you have an attitude like your mom, and it's because you're so close to her, and you know that no matter what she will love you, and your family will love you, that you take advantage of that. But that's when you have to make the choice, like just because they love me this much doesn't mean I have to like be rude and take that for granted. And so everything that we do is a choice. Like it's a choice every day to wake up and pick up your cross and follow Jesus. So
Yeah.
that has been like the most change. And I think in the world, love is like your feelings. So like how do you feel about him? Like do you feel like he's right for you? Do you feel like she's right for you? Everything is about your feelings, and feelings always come and go. So every time you follow your feelings, the next day you're like, I shouldn't have made that choice.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's not about your feelings, it's just a choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is our last question. What's a truth you cling to when you start questioning God's timing?
Wait, I think let me
Yeah, pull up your notes. Pull up your notes.
Because I have my journal and I would write everything down, it helps. And this is such a cliche saying that it's his protection, it's not punishment for you for that waiting season. And I'd say honestly, reading through my journal, from because I've had this since like 2020, so reading through it, you can see how everything lines up, and you can see how God has been working in me at least since 2020, that I have proof of, until now, like 5 years later. And you see everything line up, and you see how, had I done this, had I made this decision, this wouldn't happen. And like I said, like God has the whole book. Like sometimes, don't you wish like you could just have the book,
Just the
and
tangible.
so you can see how your life unfolds. And at least with the journal, I can see how a chapter unfolds, or like a sentence, or something, and it helps you like refresh your faith in him. And I even have this section that says like coincidences of 2024. And because we don't believe in coincidences, like we believe that a coincidence is God's way of talking to us or speaking to us, right? I have so many coincidences that if you were to read through it, it's like it's not a coincidence. It's something that God had planned for me, and that I went through for his glory.
Yeah, like even if it's just like a small little thing, like this person offered me water today.
And it's not small. Like the ones that I put are you would have to be like, you would think I was in a movie and somebody orchestrated it, which I am, but God is orchestrating it, right?
Looking back at the blessings that God has brought us through, in any season, single or not, like, like even in the situations where I fell to rushing things. And I'll be honest, I fell to rushing things because of lust. I fell to rushing things because of impatience. I fell to rushing things because I wanted to please my flesh more than I wanted to please anyone. Not even like taking God out of it. Like I didn't want to listen to my mom. I didn't want to listen to the advice like my friends would give me. I wanted to listen to my flesh and what I wanted. And so being able to see that even in that disobedience, even in that rebellion of myself, like that's what it was. Like truthfully speaking, like God still protected me and had his hand over me, and being able to look back and be like, man, that heartbreak sucked. I cried for like ever and could not get out of bed, but that relationship was actually so much scarier that like it's a blessing now to look back that I was freed from that, because God's hand was like protecting me from something so scary.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, a failed relationship is what brings them
Yeah,
Christ.
that was me.
So, and that was me too. It sometimes like you have to be, he has to hurt you that much, like that, because that's how disobedient we are, and that's how much we love our flesh, that it has to be so drastic that you change that much and you turn to God.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not even his hand that does it. Like, to be honest, we are so stubborn, and we have we have free will, right? So we can make decisions on our own.
Yeah.
We keep making the wrong decisions so many times. Of course, we're going to be left and hurt and alone and broken. You're disobeying what God is telling you over and over again. Even like whether you believe in him or not yet, like you're going against what he has designed, and that's going to leave you empty and broken because that's not what he had planned for you. And so, yeah, definitely having to learn that.
Isn't there this Bible verse that says to pray them into the enemy's hand?
Pray them into the enemy's hand?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Have you not read that one?
Am I wrong? So. I don't know. Pray them into the enemy's hand?
Into the, yeah.
We got to look this up. Okay, I'm going to go a little ahead. It says in 1 Corinthians 5:4, it says, when you are assembled in the name of our Lord Jesus, and I am with you in spirit, with the power of our Lord Jesus, hand that one over to Satan for the destruction of the flesh, so that his spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord. That's strong.
You've never heard of that verse?
No, this one's new to me.
I feel like what you were saying earlier about sometimes it's not God, it's us. Like it's our flesh, it's our decisions and everything. It's like you have to get yourself to a position where you can only pray to God. The only thing you can do is worship him. Like you have to be so broken and so low for you to turn to. It's hard to think of this, our God, as like a loving God, and that is something he would say, or he would like
that would be like
here, in the Bible. Yeah. But it's because we're so stubborn. It's because we like to choose our flesh in every decision.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So leave us on a high note.
Yeah, don't over romanticize the idea of that relationship. And also, whenever you're single, like Paul says, like he loves to be single. He loves to call us into singleness so that we could work on our relationship with God. You have like a very long time to be in a relationship, because even if you get married at 30, from 30 on to let's say 70, you have 40 years to be in a relationship. And it's just now that you can be single and you can work on yourself and you can pour only into you. You don't have to think about anyone else, and you can really strengthen your relationship with God and be spiritually ready for that relationship, because it is going to take a lot to keep God in the center of any relationship, friendship or romantic. So just like practical advice.
Well, I'm very happy that you were able to say yes to be here with us.
I'm happy to be here too.
And I hope that it was a blessing for you as you're listening. I know it was a blessing for me because, like, Nhi is just so awesome, so awesome to say. And the Lord has definitely used her to help heal a little bit of me along the way. And so I'm very grateful for you. But as always, if you have any questions or any, like, prayer requests or need advice, the comments, the DMs, they're open. We're here to help you if you have any needs, and we'll do it in the way that the Lord allows us to. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. We appreciate you. Don't forget to follow and subscribe, all the stuff, you know the deal. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you tune in next week, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at thisgen.podcast.